So Texas is one of, I think it's 8 states now, that recognizes a non-ceremonial marriage. The marriage that you think of in front of a priest or a judge is what's called a ceremonial marriage, and you have a marriage certificate that the state basically has agrees that you were married if you were married by someone who the state has licensed to perform that ceremony. So that could be a judge, it could be a preacher. I guess back in the, 1800s, when there weren't preachers around and folks out in the country needed to get married and wanted to formalize it, they created the concept of a common law marriage. And there are 3 requirements of that. One is that you agree to be married. The second one is that you live together, although it's not specified how long, whether one night works or a week works or whatever, but you have to live together. And the third is that you hold yourself out as married. Probably of those 3, the easiest and the most common proof of a common law marriage is that you hold yourself out as married. So what does that look like? Well, one is that there's a piece of paper you can sign to formalize your marriage at the same place you get birth certificates and death certificates, that just says you both sign and you say, as of this date. There are people who, believe it or not, although they didn't go through a formal ceremony, find a need to prove that they are married for insurance, for getting somebody on health insurance, or for Social Security, some document they need. So even though you didn't go through the vow setting process, you've still got a piece of paper. Other ways that become kind of deciding factors as to whether someone held themselves out as married is, did you claim each other on your income tax return? Or in that little box that said spouse, did you check it and put their name in it or not? Also for medical insurance, did you claim the person, or were you claimed as a dependent? Because if you did those things, then you've held yourself out as married, the same or more so than if you introduced that person as your old lady or your old man, or as your husband or wife. And those are the documents when someone comes in and says, I don't know whether I'm married or not, but here's what I've done. Those are the questions I ask people, because there is no informal divorce. So there's no counterpart to a common law marriage. There's no counterpart divorce. So if you did those things, or you're pretty sure you did those things, or there's a paper trail of what you did, you can say, well, I didn't agree to be married, but I put this person, they didn't have insurance, so I claimed them, or I got more money back if I put them on my tax return. Either you've committed tax fraud or insurance fraud, or you just held yourself out as married, so now you got to get divorced. But those are fact specific, and you really need to talk to your attorney about what you have done in your unique circumstances and whether or not you've got to get divorced, or whether or not you're entitled to the benefits of marriage. And that's usually where this comes up. People aren't arguing about whether they are or aren't common law married while they're together. They argue about it when they're splitting up, because there are benefits and responsibilities for having been married that you don't get for just living together. So if you and I were living together without the benefit of marriage and we broke up, I wouldn't be entitled to claim any claims of community property, because you can't have a community as Texas word for marital property, and you can't have a community if you're not married. So that's the context in which I most often ask about what is an informal or common law marriage, and how do I know if I did it.